Hello there, and welcome to NCBA Money Mastery, a show where we show you how to make your money work for you. My name is Leo, and I'm excited about numbers. Because at NCBA, the numbers that matter to you matter to us. Now, here are some numbers that matter around business recovery efforts by NCBA. Currently, we have 10 billion worth of restricted business banking facilities. Additionally, we have 3.7 billion credit facilities disbursed to business banking customers. These are new loans. And also, out of which 1.75 billion are asset finance facilities. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has brought dynamic and unexpected variables, changing the world as we know it. And while some businesses were quickly able to adopt business continuity and crisis plans, others unfortunately were not able to survive the disruption, and so their doors shut forever. Now, recently in Kenya, the rise of the third wave of the COVID pandemic has led to the recent announcement of tougher restrictions which threaten all businesses, both big and small. So the question you're asking this morning is, does your business have the right support to help it navigate the COVID pandemic? Joining us this morning is Stephen Gakuya. Now, Stephen is the head of business banking at NCBA. Karibu, Stephen, to Money Mastery.
Thank you, Leo. Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's also a pleasure hosting you this morning. Now, Steve, are you able to give us just a short background of your experience in SME banking?
Thank you, Leo. I've spent about my last 10 years working with businesses, one to create new entities, to create new businesses. I've spent the last about 10 years working with entrepreneurs to reorganize their operations, automating some of their functions, advising businesses on the need to outsource some of the responsibilities that they don't need to host in-house. But most importantly, and what gives me a lot of joy and satisfaction, is that we've worked with businesses, with experts and government agencies to help our entrepreneurs to create governance structures so that they can be able to run businesses that will outlive generation. And that gives me a lot of joy and satisfaction, Leo.
You know, it's very rare to find somebody whose job is also their passion project. So then I'm glad that you're speaking to somebody who has both. Now, Steve, on a personal level, I'd just like to ask you, how are you keeping safe in the midst of these, disruptions brought around by the pandemic?
Leo, it's been tough. It's been, I don't know, it's been difficult. It's been very rough for me as an individual, for our countrymen. It's a desperate situation with the rising cases of COVID infections, with the rising number of deaths. It's not been easy. But I think to specifically answer your question, we just need to do what the Ministry of Health is advising each one of us, that we must sanitize, mask, keep social distances, and avoid social gatherings. The government has done its part by sensitizing the population. The responsibility now lies on the shoulders of each one of us as individual Kenyans. It's not easy, but if we do what the government is advising us, I'm confident we shall get out of this third wave.
And Steve, I basically echo what you're saying, because it all boils down to our individual efforts to just make sure that we're protecting ourselves and the people around us by basically following the regulations that have been laid out. When during the first wave, which we didn't know was the first wave then, a lot of Kenyans were very responsible, and everybody used to just obey what they're being told. We got to relax somewhere along the way. But I guess, as you said, rightly said, for us to stem this third wave and go back to normalcy, which everybody wants to do, we must basically mask up, we must wash our hands, and also maintain social distancing. Now, Steve, moving on to the business perspective, a lot of businesses across the globe have gone through this unprecedented period of volatility, of ambiguity, where business heads are basically trying to steer the ship in this tough environment. They have to meet their obligations to their staff, to suppliers, to their customers. We also have them also trying to motivate staff who are also a bit anxious about their jobs, about their own responsibilities. So looking at where we are right now, Steve, can you give us just a snapshot of some of the main threats that are geared towards businesses because of the COVID pandemic?
Leo, the first and current threat I see is the current third wave that we are going through as a country. Because as we have this conversation this morning, if we go through this third wave, I'm not sure whether we shall have a fourth wave, a seventh wave, or a 15th wave. So in my view, that is the most immediate threat that I see. Hence my remarks that as individuals, we have a responsibility to make sure that we conquer this virus. The other threats I'm seeing is, cash flows have been disrupted for businesses. Budgets cannot be followed, with a lot of certainty. Planning is now no longer, long term. It's today and possibly tomorrow. If you are lucky, you can plan for 1 quarter. Local and international value chains and supply chains have been disrupted. You find that employees are now thinking about their families, so their minds are split between, being productive to their employers or taking care of their families. And so it's quite a grim situation, a very bad situation to be in for a businessman, for an individual. But I believe that with the resilience of Kenyans and our businessmen, we will get out of this current situation as stronger people and as stronger businesses.
Thanks for that, Steve. Now, and I know we've painted just a very bleak picture, but I'm a pretty positive person. So let's talk about the positives. And looking back at the last 12 months, what kind of positive stories have you seen emerging from this pandemic period, especially around business banking and SME clients?
Thank you, Leo. One of the a couple of things come to mind. It's the resilience and adaptability of our business people, because our business people are able to quickly adapt to the new realities of life. You saw some of our business people who are in passenger transport. They quickly converted their vehicles into cargo carriers to make sure that local supply chains, especially around movement of food, is well maintained. We saw our businesses moving their operations to digital platforms. We've seen a lot of opportunities in the e-commerce and IT place. Look at it this way, Leo. A couple of months ago, or maybe a year ago, most employees were glued to their desks, working on a desktop. But there's been a lot of growth in terms of both the hardware and the software, because we realized we now must work from home. So employers have to provide employees with their laptops, with their airtime, with internet. And so there's been a lot of growth both in terms of suppliers for hardware and software, in terms of IT provision. I've seen a lot of growth in the manufacturing sector. We are now able to make our own masks. We're able to also supply to the region. We are able to do our own sanitizers, and a lot of growth, especially within agro processing, which is part of manufacturing. In the health sector, we've seen our innovative Juakali, developing and making beds for hospitals. We've seen within speed time, our Juakali sector supplying desks to schools, for us to be able to maintain the social distancing within our schools. And within the construction space, there's been a boom because there's a lot of mass rollout of projects, both by government and private companies. And so those are some of the areas I've seen that have really, really grown. But I think, just to repeat, is the innovation, the resilience, and the adaptability of our business people in the midst of this pandemic.
Yeah, and I think, Stephen, then it favors the SMEs more, or our business banking clients, your business banking clients more, because business banking customers are the structures are a bit small, so that means they are flexible and they're quickly able to make quick decisions about a new opportunity, about a new way of contact, or rather connecting with the customer. So yes, for the guys who have been very flexible and very quick to look out other opportunities, they've actually done quite good business in the midst of COVID. And I also remember a story, a case where a customer actually started a bakery in the middle of COVID, I think in May last year, which is still doing very well. So yes, I'm glad that there have been some positive, sentiments still within this, bleak macroeconomic period. Steve, now NCBA as one of the main banks in the country, what role do you continue to play in supporting businesses while they're navigating through these tough times?
A couple of things, Leo. If I recall in your opening remarks, you mentioned some numbers. We assisted in restructuring 10 billion worth of loan facilities. We disbursed in excess of 5.4 billion to our customers. And most importantly, any solid business is built on the liability part of the balance sheet. And just to give a bit of context, we grew our deposits for business banking by over 10 billion Kenya shillings. So that gives us confidence. It gives us a lot of arsenal and a lot of firepower for us to continue defending and supporting our customers, for us to continue discovering and confronting the blue oceans in terms of the opportunities we are seeing within the market. And most importantly, to continue developing and giving solutions to our customers based on the emerging needs and trends. One of the things we did there last year was purely to simplify the restructure process, because with COVID, we minimized the movement of paper. So you find that our customers are able to apply for their restructures from the comfort of their homes through emails, which were sent to our systems, uploaded, and within 48 hours, our customers were able to get their offer letters and apply their e-signatures, and that was it. Those are some of the things that we did to support our customers. Going forward into the future, we are in business. When we came back from Christmas, one of the things we did was to reach out to call our customers. We are back from holiday. We are back in business. The economy has reopened. And that has seen a major growth in terms of our performance for quarter one, which of course I can't mention now because we've not announced our results. We'll continue developing our infrastructure to support our customers. If you looked at the Daily Nation this week and the Monday Standard, we opened a new branch this year, last week, and we continue laying out further infrastructure to continue supporting our customers. And we'll also continue with our entrepreneur training programs so that our customers are well tooled, they are well informed in terms of the opportunities that we see both locally in the region and beyond our borders.
I think thank you for that, Steve. It's very clear that then the business banking segment at NCBA is not shrinking, but it's actually even growing more and coming closer to customers by opening new branches, by giving them tools and avenues in which they can easily send instructions. And it's very clear then that a customer who has plans in 2021 to either expand or buy that new equipment, or come and, for that facility, they should not really postpone their plans. They should just probably come to the bank and then you're able to assist them in whatever they want to achieve. Now, everybody is hoping or talking about recovery, especially in the second half of this year. From your own opinion and from your own analysis, what kind of timelines are we looking at when we talk about recovery of the economy?
In my own view, Leo, we were headed to the tip of full recovery of all the economic activities within the country. Remember, the economy was partially opened around October last year when schools and colleges were opened. And when that happened, you will realize that it's a whole economic process around schools and universities and colleges, because they need to be sustained by suppliers, by distributors. The teachers and lecturers need to be housed. So there was a lot of positivity around how the economy was opening up. But in my view, we should not be worried by the current lockdown for, within the 5 counties, because we're still around intra-movement within the 5 counties. And I think we just need to position our businesses, and we keep on remodeling, we keep on retooling, We keep on keeping tabs with our customers, our suppliers, and distributors, because I see a lot of silver lining if we adhere to the protocols guided by the ministry. So in my view, in my perspective, we are in the final phase of recovery, but we must just do what we need to do as individuals for us to get back to our full and normal lives. Leo.
Thank you for that, Steve. I think what the underlying theme in all these discussions that we've been having so far is that a lot of the timelines for recovery are purely up to us Kenyans and just individuals. So I'm glad that you keep underscoring that point. Steve, the question of innovation and basically how we espouse technology in rolling out products has really been on the forefront, especially in the light of COVID, because of the social distancing regulations. Then we expect a lot of businesses to employ technological tools to try to reach out to the customers. What kind of innovations is NCBA offering businesses around that space?
Thank you, Leo. Traditionally, NCBA has been known for being so innovative around use of technology to deliver solutions to our customers. Today, if any business or any individual wants to transfer any amount of money, you don't need to walk to any branch. We have internet banking, we have online banking, we have given our customer pay bill numbers for them to be able to transfer money from the comfort of their offices. You don't need to fill in any RTGS, to wire money to any part of the world. The other thing we've done is we have moved most of our transactions to both mobile and online platforms, so that today individuals are able to apply for loans or for short-term advances from the comfort of their offices using their telephones. Because we are able to use the predictive analysis to assign limits to our customers, so that they don't need to walk to any relationship manager to fill in a paper to get to access some form of financing. Our customers are also in a lot of supplies, trade, and so we realized there was a huge opportunity in terms of simplifying application for bid boards, and so we have an app we call BD, BEDEE, which you download on your phone and be able to apply for an unsecured billboard up to the tune of 5 million from the comfort of wherever you are. We've also deployed what we call the cash depository machines, so that our customers don't have to rely and wait for the branch to open and the branch to close. They are able to deposit cash, which is credited instantaneously into their accounts. And to complement that, for the customers who deal with huge volumes of checks, they no longer come to the branches to deposit checks. Instead, we have given them a scanner where they're able to scan those checks, they're uploaded into their accounts, and the credits are able to hit their accounts in a timely manner. So those are some of the innovations that we have and will continue developing based on the trends we see in the market and the current situation that we're operating in Leo.
Steve, that's quite a lot around the digital innovations that the bank has employed. Yes, you rightly said NCBA has been known as one of the foremost leaders in terms of digital banking solutions because of M-Shwari and Fuliza and Loop. But I'm glad then that the bank has also entrenched technology in all the other functions. And basically from what you've said, that means that an SME customer does not really need to come to the branch at all. Because if they have options to transfer money from internet banking or mobile banking, they can deposit money through a CDM machine, they can deposit checks via the check machines, they can apply for a bid bond from the comfort of their own homes or offices. That means then we're enabling our customers to basically bank from wherever they are. And that's something really that's very positive, and I'm sure it's going to resonate with a lot of SME SME heads or entrepreneurs who are actually, most of them are right now below 45 years and below. So that's quite positive. Steve, I think it's time to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the tips that entrepreneurs can employ in their businesses to cushion themselves from the shocks of the pandemic. To our audience, please keep sending through questions and comments around SME, around recovery, around SME products, and Steve and I will sample them before the end of the discussion.
At NCBA, We can tailor-make your SME business solution to suit your business. It's what we have done for over 50,000 businesses so far.
50,000? Mommy, that is 50,000 families with 50,000 meals every day and 50,000 dreams coming to life.
We know that it's not about the business, but about caring for loved ones. Get NCBA SME Banking Solutions. The name is NCBA, and the numbers that matter to you matter to us. NCBA Bank. Go for it.
Back to NCBA Money Mastery, where we show you how to make your money work for you. My name is Leo, and I've been discussing, business recovery with Steve Gakuya. Stephen is the head of business banking at NCBA. Steve, for the entrepreneurs watching us right now, what kind of tips are you able to offer from the benefit of your own experiences? What practical tips are you able to share about how businesses can, weather the shocks of operating in such a tough environment?
Thank you, Leo. A couple of things come to mind. One and most important is businesses need to be more inward-looking in light of what you've gone through and self-disrupt before they're disrupted. And that way, businesses will be able to predict the future with a lot of precision, and they will be able to align their operations, their objectives, their goals within the realities of the day, rather than waiting to be disrupted by other businesses or other pandemics like what you've gone through. The next and very important that businesses need to think through is about their employees. Because again, in my view, the performance of every company today is not reliant on the individual supervisors, is not dependent on the individual managers, but that responsibility has shifted squarely on the shoulders of the individual employee, who is now able to work, agile hours. They are working from home, they are working on the go, they are working as they transit in matatus. And that's why it will be very, very important for businesses to make sure that the employees understand their corporate philosophies, they understand the visions of the founders of these businesses, they understand the values that drives these companies, they understand and lead the missions and goals of these organizations. And most importantly, the employees need to own the aspirations of these companies and organizations. How do you keep the employees engaged when possibly you don't meet them for almost 6 months? I have colleagues within my place of work that I think I've not even seen for the last almost 12 months. It's a tricky balancing act, but I'll give you an example. A story I was being given by a young man who is working in the UK for a multinational. 2 weeks ago, the company has a complement of 4,000 employees, and the employer bought ingredients to make a chocolate for each of those 4,000 employees. And on a particular day, I'm told that around 4 p.m., a whistle was blown, everybody in their kitchens, videos on, they were able to make chocolates and share a meal together. We may not be able to make chocolates locally, but we can make some ugali and sukuma wiki with our employees. We can deploy technology so that we still maintain those bonds with our employees. And so I've used that example, Leo, just to reiterate the importance of keeping our employees engaged and making sure that they are safe, because they are the drivers of the growth of our companies. And whatever opportunities they cite out there, because they have the time, they have the knowledge, they have the skills, they will pass over those opportunities to the founders of these businesses so that the founders can be able to upskill their operations. Thank you.
And thank you, Steve. I know everybody always says that the employee is the most important, facet of any business. But that really translates to, especially in action, especially how business owners treat their employees. And I'm glad that you've been able to clearly indicate how to do it, beginning from cascading the vision from the business head, to each individual person working towards fulfilling that vision or mission. And that way, everybody, whether they're working from home or in transit, they know that they're working towards something, and basically, that also builds ownership from the employees. I'm also glad that you mentioned about just motivating them and even taking care of them, because unfortunately, if your employee becomes infected by COVID and they have to stay home, your work is disrupted. So even protecting them and putting in stratagems to make sure that they are they're obeying the social distancing rules, making sure that they're taken care of medically. That also builds into the profitability of the business. Steve, I also like the comment you mentioned about flexibility of businesses, about the ability of businesses, especially SMEs, to quickly be able to pick out opportunities around them and quickly adapt into them. And that's the way how they're going to survive through these tough times. Steve, I'd like to shift gears a little and go to some of the questions and comments that are coming in from our viewers. But before I do that, one of the questions that always comes through when you're talking to anybody in SME, or rather in SME banking, is collateralized lending. Now, a lot of businesses have good concepts, they have good cash flows, but because of one reason and another, maybe they're not able to bring collateral to the bank. And most of them will now shy away from even coming for a facility with a bank like NCBA, because probably they don't have a title or something like that. I don't know, Steve, what your comments are around that and what you're able to advise our viewers.
Thank you, Leo. That's a very, very good question and very relevant to our SMEs. As a bank, NCBA, we do not lend to collateral. And when we are doing our credit underwriting, it is the last thing that we ask our customer about, because we lend to cash flows. We lend to businesses that are able to generate enough cash to sustain their operations and pay their suppliers, and of course, pay the bank's debt or bank's loan. But having said that, we have also, we live in this market. We have customers who have got very good cash flows, but they don't have adequate collateral. And so we have three approaches. We have partnered with what we call the African Trade Insurance Agency, ATIA, who are able to give collateral coverage for our SMEs with good cash flows to the level of 70%. And then the individual business owner is able to provide a coverage of 30%. We also have an arrangement with the African Guarantee Fund, AGF, which is able to give a collateral margin of 50% to our SMEs, and then the customer provides the rest of the 50%. And for anybody listening to us this morning, please, if you forget anything, remember AGF and ATIA, and walk to the nearest branch, talk to your branch manager or your relationship manager for more information. And lastly, Leo, I'm also delighted to mention that last year, with the partnership of the government of Kenya, we signed a guarantee fund where the government of Kenya is now able to guarantee our SMEs to the tune of 50%, and then the SME provides an additional collateral of 50%. Again, all these are measures to make sure that we cushion our customers as we emerge and as we remodel our economy post COVID-19. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Steve. And I'm glad this is coming from the head of business banking, so that then everybody who's listening to us can walk confidently in any NCBA branch and just just present your case and based on your current need and your facility that you want, basically we'll be able to appraise that and give you a solution around whatever product you need, whether it's pure working capital or whether it's asset finance or whether it's trade finance. Now, Steve, diving into the questions that are coming in from social media. The first one is from Nyawera, who's saying, my name is Nyawera. I'd like to know what are the real opportunities for growth within the current state of play. Steve, I don't know if you could just summarize.
Yeah, there's a huge opportunity in every facet of this economy, be it in IT, be it in trade, be it in manufacturing, be it in the health sector, be it in insurance. There's a huge range of opportunities. I think, Nyawera, we just need to open our eyes to our surroundings, and we should be able to quickly spot some of the opportunities we can be able to tap into, either to start businesses or to scale up our operations or to acquire new businesses. So I think in a simple way, there are a lot of opportunities to be tapped amidst this pandemic, and as the economy slowly and quickly recovers out of this crisis, Leo.
Thank you, Steve. Moving on quickly to the next question is from Wakilisha SDGS. Any plans for those of us in the creative industry?
There are a lot of plans. If you look at the entertainment industry, for example, what you call the traditional entertainment venues, they've been closed now close to 1 year. And so you find most of the content creators have gone to digital telemarketing. Most of the entertainment is through YouTube and other social media. We talked about education sector, for example. I know of some universities that even during COVID, they were teaching on online. I'm not sure our current education system, assuming this COVID continues maybe for the next 5-10 years, will remain as it is. So there's a huge array of opportunities for our creators, people with their creative minds to venture into these areas and make huge businesses out of this.
That's it. Moving on. Another question from Gidi Shiro, who's asking, or who said, debt, full stop. Getting your business out of it and making profits again. Steve?
Okay. Debt is a discussion we can have for 2-3 hours, but I'll be very simple. Getting out of debt is very simple. Borrow if your cash flows can be able to support your borrowing. Make sure that whatever you borrow is used to generate more cash flows, not to acquire especially non-income generating assets, and do not borrow for consumption. So that's my simplistic way of responding to that question, Leo. But most importantly is when you borrow, please also ensure that you pay your debt in time, so that your lender can be able to continue supporting your business ventures into the future.
And thanks for that, because I think there's this negative connotation towards debt, and as you rightly say, debt is good, but debt has to be planned for, and it has to be geared towards a specific investment objective for the business, which will be revenue generating. I think the issues around debt are usually where probably somebody has gotten the loan and diverted it to something else, where now issues arise. But I'm glad then you've been able to dispel some of those fears. Another question from Nia 999, who's asking whether you have any unsecured loans and what are the terms.
Thank you, Nia, for that very good question. As I mentioned earlier, we use our digital and data analytics capability. We're able to assign limits to our personal customers, which they're able to access on their mobile platforms. For business customers, we consider unsecured lending on a case-to-case basis, based on your level of banking with NCBA, your cash flows, the intended purpose of the borrowing, and most importantly is if you are full sites of all your business operations within NCBA. So yes, we do, and I request Nia to visit your relationship manager or your nearest branch manager for more information and details around our secured lending.
Another question from Aisha Asha and Joseph Murethi, who are asking, can someone apply for an extension or moratorium if he or she is unable to clear, or rather to remit the monthly premiums on time?
If you recall the moratorium window that was provided by the central, our regulator, expired in March. But however, we are realistic that some industries will take a bit of time to recover. And so we are looking at this request purely on a case-to-case basis, and then we're able to agree on something with individual customers.
Question from Byron Ongati and Spanner Bowie, who are asking for loans. Can you help us as we are unable to service them due to the pandemic? what options are available to us. I think, Steve, there's a lot of interest around how you're able to support clients for who have existing loans. Probably they're not able to service them. I don't know what your comment is around that.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Leo, we will review on a case-to-case basis based on individual circumstances, the industry in which the individual or the business is playing, and then I'm sure we shall be able to agree on something. But again, just to reiterate, on a case-to-case basis, but we are open for discussions, and I would encourage anybody with such problems to visit the local branches for more information and face-to-face discussion with our teams in the branches.
Yeah, and I think, yes, and what you're saying is basically, in case somebody has an existing loan and they're not able to, for some reason or another, they're not able to service those monthly installments, I think the best thing is for communication between the customer and the relationship manager or the branch manager. Let them just come in, and then you're able to talk to your branch manager, figure out how to make that process easier for you. I think the issue has always been around where somebody goes through some difficulty and then they keep silent, and then the loan goes into arrears, and then that becomes a dicey situation. Steve, finally, there's a question here from Moses who's saying, now that the government has reverted to the old tax regime, how can businesses navigate the high taxes?
Leo, depending on how you look at it, that can be a very good question. And that would be very simple. And I'd like to make it simple by giving it. One is pay the right amount of tax. Pay the right amount of tax to the right people. And pay the right amount of tax. That means you have to do
Okay, Steve, Steve, you can hear me, correct?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I think you summarized that. You've summarized that answer about the taxes in a very nice way. Are you able to just say it again for us, so that I don't know, I can catch it also?
I'll just think that it's important that we pay the right amount of tax. We pay the right amount of tax to the right institution, that is to KRA, and for us to pay the right amount of tax in good time. So that if your VAT is due on 20th, please pay on 20th. If your pay-as-you-earn is due on 20th, pay on 20th. If it is your rental income, pay the 20 or 30% on time, and that will avoid any problems with the tax agencies. And that's my very simple response to that question, Leo.
You've made it very easy, very easy to remember. Guys, pay the right amount to the right institution and pay it in time. I think that is very clear for any business to just internalize. Finally, Steve, there's a question on whether you do any LPO financing from a parastatal or government institutions, whether they can use the LPO as security for that facility.
Yes, that's our normal business. We do a lot of LPO financing. And you go beyond LPOs, we also do a lot of invoice discounting. So I would request anybody with an LPO from a government institution, please pay us a visit at the local branch. They have all the information on how to be able to support and facilitate you.
Wow, thank you, Steve. I think this has been a very long but very advantageous discussions to me and to our viewers right now, because we've been able to discuss some of the salient issues that business owners and entrepreneurs are going through right now, and basically how they're able to survive through COVID and see 2022 and the years that follow. So thank you, Steve, once again for making time to join us. We hope to invite you again so that you can also give us more information around SMEs and how basically they can structure their business. To our viewers, that's all the time we had for you this morning on NCBA Money Mastery from Conversations. Until next time, when we come back to your screen to just discuss another set of numbers that matter to you. To find out more about SME products, business banking products around from working capital facilities to trade facilities to asset finance facilities, I invite you to visit our website at ke.ncbagroup.com. That's ke.ncbagroup.com. Also, you can also like, follow, and subscribe our social media pages from YouTube to Facebook to Instagram to get a lot more information on our products, and that's another opportunity for you to just engage us, and we'll respond right back to you. So that's it. Till next time. My name is Leo, and as Steve has mentioned, please continue to obey the government regulations around COVID. Maintain your social distance as much as you can. Mask up when you're in public, and also make sure that you sanitize and wash your hands to see whether we try to stem this pandemic. That's it for me, and have a good day.